I get asked a lot, like, what's the best interval training session you can prescribe? And overwhelmingly, context is king. So it depends on so many factors, that have an impact. So, for example, sport, phase of the year, training history, training status, all of those things have a big impact. But as a general rule, when you think about, I think one important distinction to make is when we think about high intensity interval training, the key characteristic of that and the application of it is that it needs to be objective. So you need to reference or use an intensity measure to prescribe your interval training. So for me, it is maximal aerobic speed. For other people that have got lab-based data, it might be velocity at VO2 max. So for example, it might be we're doing a long interval session and it might be at a 2-to-1 work to rest, and it might be 4 sets of 4 minutes at 92.5% maximal aerobic speed with 2 minutes passive recovery. Okay, so that's an example of how I would prescribe it. Now, across a group of, like, let's say we do that with a group of triathletes or a group of footballers or soccer players, across the spectrum of athletes, everyone, or there'll be different groupings with different maximal aerobic speed values. So when you start prescribing in that manner, you can start individually tailoring the sessions to each individual's capacity. And the main benefit I associate with that is that you're inducing a consistent stimulus across the group. So that's one of the key characteristics. So when you're working one-on-one with an athlete, it's not that hard to prescribe something. The real complexity comes in when you're dealing with 40, 50, 60 football players or soccer players in a preseason, and you're like, geez, how can I induce a consistent stimulus that I know will be effective across 60 players? So this method absolutely comes into its own when you're dealing with those situations and circumstances. And I've been fortunate enough to work in elite programs, sub-elite programs. I've had to run a conditioning program before with up to 100 footballers. So wow. I've found it to be incredibly adaptable and implementable for like a broad spectrum of settings. So whether it's one-on-one with an athlete, whether it's catering for 100 footballers or soccer players, it absolutely, the philosophy and the underpinning research holds me in great stead for that.